Let's talk about the Status Toolbar. It gives you access to some of the most common features in FileMaker that you'll use on an everyday basis. These features in the Status Toolbar up here, which we've gone over a few of them, are really the same features as you see under the Records menu and Others menus. For instance, if you see Go to Record here, you'll see Next and Previous and Go To. Well, these are replicated by this area right here. You have the Rolodex, which we showed you how to use. You go to the next record, you go to the previous record. Same features, just easier to access up here. Now I do want you to notice that it's dimmed out here. You can't go to the previous record because it's dimmed out because there is no previous record. As soon as you go to the next record, then it's available. So remember that about these indicators on there. The next thing you want to look at is the slide bar. This little convenient little guy allows you to go quickly to any record you want to, just by sliding through to there. So go to record 28, we have Jennifer. I don't usually use it this way because you can't really tell what record you're going to, but it's nice to be able to quickly go back to the first record. So that's really convenient, or quickly go to the last record like that. You can also come up here and type in the record number that you want. Let's say 28, and then either hit the return or enter key. It goes right to that record, and then you're there. So if you know the record number, it can be really convenient to quickly get there. Then you have this little icon. We've covered it a little bit. It's the pie chart, but it's not really a pie chart. Some people think this is where you do charting from FileMaker, and it's not. What it is it indicates in a visual way how many records you're looking at, because this is a very important concept in a database. You're looking at a found set right now. If you weren't, you wouldn't have this little pie piece out of it. That means the records that you aren't looking at right now. You have the same indicator over here. 41 records out of 43 are showing. It's very important because so many things work based on the found set, so you need to get used to seeing that. And this just gives you a little bit better indicator. It also allows you to swap from your found set to your unfound set. Notice that we have 2 records now. And again, that's the same feature you have over here under Show Omitted Only. So you will see this change as you change your found set. For instance, if we omit a record, you'll see that pie gets a little bit bigger. We've just taken one of the records out of the found set, so now it's in the unfound set essentially. Now when we come over here, you'll see that we have this unsorted right here. There are actually 3 things that can display here: unsorted and sorted, which are the most common, and then semi-sorted. You won't see semi-sorted very often because it's not likely to happen since FileMaker 10 introduced the automatic sorting feature. In other words, once you sort, it keeps sorting it even if you add records or change records. It's a nice little feature to keep your database sorted. So semi-sorted can come up in some situations, but you rarely see it. That means that it's sorted partially. It means that you added or edited a record, but again, it won't happen very often. So just pay attention to what the status of your database is right here. Then of course you have your new record, which we covered, adds a new record. Again, the same features under the Records menu. Same with delete record. That's also under there and under this menu right here. And you may be thinking, I don't have all the same options here. Well, you may not have them because you can customize this toolbar, which we'll cover in the next section. So don't worry about that. You'll probably have most of the same icons as I do. Then you have your Find, which again you can do from the View menu. We haven't gone over Find mode, so we won't click on it. And notice that there's this little triangle next to it. This allows you to click and hold down on it rather than just click on it. So you have both options, click or click and hold down, and we'll see what those do later when we cover finds. But we'll give you a quick peek into it. If you click and hold down, you can create a new find, which is the same as clicking on it, or modify the last find, or save a find, or edit a find. You can even have save finds that you just select and go ahead and find with them again. Then you also have the sort that allow you to sort your records. Here's a new feature called Quick Find. We'll cover that later. And because my screen is probably not as big as yours, we have this little thing that shows the Show All, which is off to the right, which can't appear on here because my screen's not big enough. So this is a great little way to get to your most common features. There's also a sub status toolbar down here, which allows you to change layouts, what we covered briefly, but there's only one layout now because I deleted that recurring import layout. You also have your View As, which we covered briefly. It allows you to switch from Form View to List View to Table View, and we'll cover those more. We covered Edit Layout over here, which lets you get into layout mode, which you can also do this way. And then there's also a button here called Preview, which is the same as going to Preview mode. So that's this toolbar right here. You also have the ability to show your formatting bar. That can also be shown and hidden through this icon right here. And this simply gives you access to fonts. So if you click into one of your fields and highlight something, you can change the font, the size, the color. There's a new feature we'll go over later, which is text highlighting, bold, italic, underline, and where it's justified, to the left, to the center, to the right, full justified, all that kind of stuff. I usually don't show it because it's not generally a good idea to change your fonts inside of browse mode. And the reason is because once you change it in browse mode, no matter where you show that field on different layouts, let's say you have a layout for printing labels, it's going to stay in that same font type, that same font size, and things like that. It's better to change it in layout mode, and we'll cover that later. So I wouldn't recommend showing this, and that's why it's not a default to show that. So you also have some other features, which again, we've gone over some of these, but I want to make sure they're all in one spot so you can come back and look at them and review them. So you have this little icon, which is only on the Macintosh, which allows you to hide that status toolbar to give yourself more space. Again, the same feature is right here. So this is on Mac and Windows. And then of course you can go up to the View menu and choose it this way if you want. And then of course you have the keyboard command along with that. Then of course you have the little zoom. You can go smaller or bigger. So we can small down to 75%, smaller to 50, but usually you go bigger. You want to be able to see something easier, go to 150 or 200. You can go all the way up to 400 if you want. And then once you've gone ahead and gone up, you can click on this to go back to 100 real quickly. So that's handy because you want to go ahead and maybe zoom something up. It's difficult to see, but typically this feature is used more commonly in layout mode because you're working with these objects and trying to get a better handle on what you're looking at. Maybe you got to get down to the pixel level there. And then of course you can change your modes here as well. So it depends what you're near. You know, you have the View menu to change modes, or use keyboard commands, or go down here, or use the edit layout. I mean, there's all kinds of ways, and you choose the way that best fits your own needs. But we'll go over the 4 modes later. We're not going to do anything more with layout mode or find mode right now. We're still going over basically browse mode at this point and data entry and things like that. So that's basically what you have here. You do have on the Macintosh your close icon, your minimize, and this is a neat little feature. If you hit this, what's going to happen is you're going to make it change to the size of your screen. In other words, the last object over here and the last part down here. So this is handy because often you want to go ahead and resize to just what the content is. That's a better way of saying it. We're going to resize it to the largest size here. Now realize you'll have this button on the Windows, the red button and the yellow button. Well, it's not really red and yellow on Windows, but you won't have this button. You won't have this ability to do that because it's just not a feature in Windows. You will have a script step for it, which we'll cover later. So get familiar with this. You want to really have a good idea where all these features are so you can quickly do them, because the more efficient you are, the faster you can create databases, the faster you can do data entry and things like that.